cigar. Yeah, might as well. Of course, you brought cigars.
So first of all, happy birthday.
Thank you, brother.
Where are we? I mean, we've just been hiking for what would be 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Elevation of
We've done about 1,500, so we're at 2.2.
2.2 k's in the air.
We did about 1,500 of that.
We're surrounded by nature. We're up in the clouds, but you can't really see, unfortunately. We've got dogs around us. We've got.
It look like we could be just in a field, doesn't it?
Well, I think we're just in a field, yeah, like for people watching.
You don't know.
But more importantly, 30. Give me the best lessons from the 20s coming into your 30.
Okay, right. The biggest lesson.
One big lesson, mate.
Biggest lesson is that nothing goes wrong in my life. Having that attitude. That even though there's some things you might previously have perceived as inconvenient or undesirable, my mindset now is nothing goes wrong in my life. And I believe it. I've deluded myself to believe that absolutely nothing goes wrong in my life. So even things that could seem like not particularly good, I know that there's a lesson coming from it, and I know it's going to teach me something, and I know it's going to make me more interesting, more character, it's going to make me more money, whatever it is, it's going to force me for that next stage of evolution. So from making that change, having that lesson, enables you to view everything as a gift. And when you view everything as a gift, that means you're operating in a state of gratitude, even for the shit things. And I'm not there all the time, but it's something that I've kind of fostered over the last few years, had a few ups and downs, and really kind of fostered that mindset of, hey, nothing goes wrong in my life. Sweet. Nothing goes wrong in my life. And I think if you can delude yourself through that mindset, things start changing, because you start acting, when something happens to you, you start acting like it was the perfect thing. And so it's all about how you respond, right? It's all about how you respond to things rather than react. So if you have that mindset that it's happening for you, it's going to take you to that next stage, whatever it is, then you respond in a positive way, even if it's a seemingly negative thing. Mm-hmm. How was that?
Amazing. So
pretty
far.
Good, yeah.
We've been 3 grams deep really well. And so based on this trip you've been doing... Yeah, sure. Yeah, based on... I mean, how long have you been in Bali now?
On and off 2 years now, I think.
2 years. Well, how long have you been in the tropics?
Yeah, like last 2-3 years, I think.
2-3 years, yeah. And you were in Greece before that, like...
In Croatia,
Cyprus.
And UK a little bit.
And how did that accelerate what you just mentioned there? Like, obviously, I've found it in my own lifestyle. Seeing you, just in the short time frame I've known you, start the pod, you know, you're doing some big shit with Darren. Things are moving for you.
Yeah.
And what's really cool to see is that, like, when I think of Tom Spark, I think of like equilibrium. Like, doesn't waver, just kind of like balanced, just pinpoint.
Okay.
Pretty big names to live up to.
Yeah.
But it kind of just went back to what you're just saying there, as in like nothing's really phasing you.
Yeah.
How has the tropics affected that?
So the tropics, I think, being in this environment, you're just around creation, you're around people doing something. And that really helps. It puts you in a creation mindset, right? It puts you in a mindset where you also want to create, and and you believe it's possible because you see it right in front of you. Every new business that is opening here, you know the owner, or you know the models, or you know whatever. Everyone's creating something. So I think it's great because it puts you into that mindset as well.
The reason why we build our bodies in the gym, we play sports, is kind of like a preparation for battle. And so that's what a woman's attracted to. She knows that if the man is strong, he's prepared to fuck some shit up. So she feels safe, and so she's attracted to that. You see, it's not just things on the surface, there's deeper things going on at play. So that's why, you know, men that are really soft, the women walk all over them because they don't feel safe. A woman respects man that has a killer energy. But once you find a woman that you're willing to kill for, naturally she'll submit to you. So submission is not like, you need to submit to me. No, it's like, hey dude, you know, I'll fucking kill a motherfucker for you. So that's when the woman should go and make you a sandwich. Because no, but it's true, isn't it? Because that's the sacrifice. I'm giving my life. I'm giving my fucking life. Like, every day I go out there, bust my fucking ass, right? I'm running my business. I'm building my body. and to make sure I protect you. It's only damn well right you make me a sandwich, you see? People have forgot the spiritual aspects.
There we go.
They've forgotten it, you know? There's a lot of men who have money and they don't have families, which means that it's kind of a natural. A man's supposed to have money and family. A king, right, has money and he needs to have women for a kingdom. And usually, you know, back in the day, if the king couldn't produce no children, his kingdom was at threat. The others would try and take him out because he didn't have any succession, you see? So a man must always have a succession. If he loves himself, he must produce an heir. We're like lions, you see? And lions that roam the jungle, they go and conquer, and they have a pride. And their pride, their first pride, is the woman and their children. Okay, of course, business comes first, but their pride, their first pride, woman and children. Their offspring, you know, that's their real produce, you know? Their family. It's the most godly thing a man should do. That's what godly man does. He has a family. He takes care of a family. Because then he can really say he's taking care of community. How are you going to take care of community if you're not willing to do it yourself? You're going to just let other men do it?
So how does that translate into modern times though? Obviously now it's all this nearly, like it's all online, it's all founders and tech.
Planet wants people who can afford to have children, all right? But they have to get healthy too. And the rest who can't afford to have children, it means they haven't caught up, right? They haven't caught up mentally. Because they haven't caught up mentally, right? They're not able to master or leverage the digital world. So the planet doesn't want them to have kids. You know, like why produce some other kids that are going to just be scrapping around? It's all survival of the fittest, you see. So a man who's good at tech and digital, building his business, yeah, he's perfect for developing children because the children already come out, they'll understand, okay, they'll understand digital world. Daddy does digital world. It's a digital world, okay. Kid's already got a good start in life, you know? He'll understand the planet more, you know? He'll understand what the planet needs. The planet needs digital world because the digital world is etheric. Because the digital world is etheric, it means that we don't take up now as much physical resources before. So the planet before was like, okay, use trees for money. But if we keep cutting down the trees, we won't fucking breathe. So the planet's like, okay, let's move on to digital money. You know, it's up in the sky. You can't feel it. There's plenty of that. You know, so the planet's always moving things around to make sure that things are in balance. And it'll give those men all the money that they want if they adapt. The planet's like, we need more people in the digital. So of course, people in digital are getting more money.
I think it was JP Morgan had the quote, millionaires focus on strategy, billionaires focus on astrology. And so they're practicing all of what you're talking about.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
It's not random, huh? These guys are tapped in. You're a billionaire, yeah? You're about to make some plays. Now, your plays could effectively move and shake things going on globally, yeah? Are you really just going to leave these things up to some chance? No. No, you're not. You're not going to leave it up to chance, are you? No, they consult the wizards or the wizards themselves. And so they generally always get what they want. Because they're part of orders, you see. So a lot of these are magicians. You just don't see it on the surface. Like George Soros is a magician. Okay, he's a high-level magician, George Soros. What he does is he taps into sun frequencies. So everything is sun, right? Everything is the sun anyway. Everything is photosynthesized. So if you can tap directly into the sun, and the sun rises each day, the sun is sending frequencies down, that also affects the stock markets, right? And so what he can actually do is...
How do you mean? Because it's affecting the crops, you're saying, and then that's affecting the stock markets.
Yeah, because we're all part of the sun. So the moods, the ups and downs of life is affected by the sun.
But how does that affect oil, per se? Like one of the biggest commodities to be sold on the exchange, is it?
Plant matter that's decompressed over time, but that plant matter and animals were photosynthesized, so it's all from the sun. Like there's no life without the sun. If you tap directly into the sun, and because he can do so, right, he can move and manipulate markets anyway. So you see, when a new president is formed in any country around the world, they have to kiss George Soros's hand because he can just tank their fucking market. He can tank their economy.
Do you know any of the intricacies and details behind how he's doing it? What exactly he's getting from the sun? Like, is he getting like words, or is he getting it through
No,
numbers?
numbers.
Or numbers, is it?
Yeah. You see, the whole universe is built on numbers. It's like the base, and it will send number frequencies, right? So if you can read the frequencies as numbers, and then he can just download it, and then you can just process them, and then you can decide which way to move, based on that. But if you can get that information first, right, then you can manipulate whatever's going to happen. A lot of the tech guys, people like, Elon Musk is tapped in. What Elon Musk does, he taps into frequencies of other planets, and there are other planets which are highly more evolved. The technology is much more advanced, and so he speaks to them. The thing is, you see, people are like, oh, I don't believe that. I was like, okay, so I'll explain basic biology. Okay, you've got the sun. The sun is the central part of the solar system. The sun shines light here, okay, and things grow through photosynthesis. But the sun is fucking round. The sun doesn't just shine on Earth. The sun shines in many other different directions. So wherever the sun shines, there's fucking life, yeah? And these guys all know it. So they communicate with life forms in this solar system and some other ones, and then they were able to download information on how to develop new technologies. Everything already exists. They just tap into it and they just bring it here.